Hi, I'm Donna and this is Charlotte. We're from Pimms Needles. Thank you for joining us. This podcast is brought to you with Point North. They're supporting our project, which is called Bloom in Life.
And it's through a fund called Enriching Later Lives. And it's all about providing information for women in midlife to help navigate really difficult situations and kind of facilitate positive change.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us. Today we're joined by Diane from Holistic Links. So welcome.
Hiya. Nice to meet you.
You dropped in it a little bit there.
Yeah. It's lovely to have you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Could you tell us, just to start off, we'll dive right in there.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do as a holistic therapist.
Okay, I do a lot of things which have built up over the last few years. I do yoga, chair-based movement, which incorporates some of yoga in. I do a lot of holistic treatments, sort of Reiki crystals, massage, hot stone, Indian head, hoppy ears, and then I also do sound baths and floating sound baths now. I think I've covered that. I think I've covered everything.
We both would love to do one of them.
Yeah.
We both keep saying how much we'd love to do a floating sound bath.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well, come along, come along. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing it? Is this something that you've done forever, or is this kind of a new avenue for you?
Well, I've done it for about 6 years, 7 years. But no, I've always been in education.
Okay.
Worked my way through from being, nursery nurse trained. I had a son, and being trained as well as being a mum, I decided I would stay at home with him until he went to nursery, went into the nursery, got employed by the school, and then worked my way up from teaching assistant into HLTA, higher level teaching assistant. Then they asked me if I would like to do my teacher training, which I did. And I loved, I've done that from leaving school, worked in education. And then about 15, coming up to 16 years ago, I had a really serious back accident.
Okay.
Or shall I say event? I don't know whether, event, accident. I'll tell you a little bit about that very briefly. Thank you. My cat brought a mouse in. I was ready for work, going to school in my primary school role, teacher role, and my cat dropped a mouse at my feet. It was alive. It ran up towards the front door. The cat ran after it. Both turned around, ran towards me, and I literally jumped out of the way. Got excruciating pain in my lower back. Took a few paracetamols, as you do. Drove to work, and by the time I was going to work, I was going numb down my left leg. The head sent me to hospital, got checked out, was told to go home. I pulled my back. A couple of days later, without going into too much information, I went back to the walk-in doctors. They sent me straight to the hospital, and I didn't come out until I'd had emergency back surgery. Oh. I'd suffered something called cauda equina syndrome, and basically my disc had herniated, but it hadn't just herniated, it actually fragmented and it was embedded in my spine. So essentially, I was I was going paralysed from the waist down. Wow. It's one of the few things that you have emergency back surgery for. I did. It was a success, obviously, because obviously with that you could end up wheelchair and so on, very life-changing. And it was absolutely life-changing for me. I did 2 years of physio, which was great, but it was really tough. I'd always been active. I'd always worked, especially you can imagine with primary school children. I'd used to be a runner. Used to do half marathons. If I wasn't jumping about and dripping with sweat, I hadn't worked out. I was one of those. And I went from doing everything to being able to do nothing, which was really hard, really difficult. So sort of, it does send you on a bit of a downward spiral, something like that, very life-changing. I did 2 years of physio, and as I said, they were amazing. They got me to do a lot of movements, brought a lot of stuff back for me. But after 2 years, obviously you can only do that for so long. The consultant, when I asked about my mobility, he said, basically after 2 years of physio, that's about your lot. And I'm one of these people who, no, that can't be. I'd always been busy, active and so on. And my own physio said, why don't you try some yoga? My own doctor's GP physio, which I did. And as soon as I went in there, someone came rushing over, back injury, stick at it for 3 months. And I thought, okay, this is a bit tame to what I'm used to, but I can't do anything else than this. And I started yoga when I went in. Everyone was sat on the floor, crossed legs, sat bolt upright and so on. And I was sat on about 4 blocks. I couldn't sit at that point. I was sat on about 4 blocks. But I stuck at it, and it basically gave me my life back. I can't describe it in any other way than it giving me my life back. And that was a big change. Obviously the injury was a big changing point. Before the injury, I had already had an interest in the mindfulness, meditation and so on. And I used to bring that because it was just coming up into the forefront of education as well, and how all the benefits that come with that. So I was implementing in the classroom with the children little bits of mindfulness, a few mindfulness activities. And I saw a real difference with the children, the self-esteem, the motivation, how they looked. They just were a lot calmer, everything that went along with that. So I'd already had an interest there anyway. And went further because of where I went with the back injury, delved deeper into it and used it more and more as my own practice to sort of lift me from here, even to get me onto a nice balance, an even keel with life. Yeah. And it did help a lot, as did meditation. Yeah. I used a lot of meditation techniques to help me manage pain and do, just get on with life, basically, because it was really life-changing.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
And then went from there, because the yoga had such an impact of giving me my life back, I decided to go and do my training with the yoga.
So can we just, on the mindfulness side of things, do you want to just explain what mindfulness is? Because I think we live in such a busy world now, don't we, where we've got 50 things going on, and even while we're speaking, I'm thinking, I'll be getting emails, and, you never, how do you get in the moment? Like, what are your tips for embracing it?
There's so many. I mean, if you go on YouTube, if you go on all these different platforms, you can find so much out there. Just have a look. But it's about bringing yourself into the present moment. And I know people have had that sort of message drummed into them, and that's all people say. But it is literally, as you say, your mind is working at 100 miles an hour. You're thinking, what happened yesterday, what I'm doing now, what I've got to do next, what I'm doing tomorrow, next week, and they're all coming in, as well as that overwhelm of everyone around you, those who depend on you, your friends. You're trying to manage and juggle so many balls. We do, especially as women, we have so many hats, don't we? So it's about bringing your focus to whatever you're doing now, because that's your distraction. Wherever your thoughts go, there is a saying, where thoughts go, ever energy flows. So your energy is going into all of these little different pockets of things that are going on in your mind when you're doing something important in front of you. And so it's about distracting, taking those breaths. There's lots of breath work techniques out there. Even you don't have to do this for like 20 minutes, half an hour. Even just taking just 1 or 2 just deeper breaths can make a difference. It just brings everything down. It grounds you, it calms the nervous system, and it gives you clarity of mind when you come back from just closing your eyes or focusing on something. That can just bring you back into this moment. And when you do that, you actually perform better. You speak what you want to say more clearly. Your focus is there. You stand less chance of making a mistake. So it is about, it doesn't come just really easily. You do have to, have a go at it. And what I do say to people is, don't just use these techniques when you find them, when you're in that, shall I say, crisis mode. Yeah. Use them when you're feeling okay as well. Yeah. When that day's going good, still pause and take a moment, take a breath or two, think, right, that's great, big yourself up about something you've just accomplished, and then feel like that almost brings you an end to that anyway as well, and then you can move on. So it is about bringing that focus into the here and now, whether it's taking a breath, whether it's picking something up and just feeling it, looking at something, listening to something. That's going to bring you back into this moment and stop that 100-mile-an-hour brain going crazy.
We need some of this. We definitely do. We definitely do.
I was doing it on the way.
Doing some deep breath.
Yeah.
I was just thinking how holistic. So we're talking about treating somebody in a holistic way, an all-round kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that does sit nicely alongside medication? Obviously, you were saying you've come to the end of your physio, and
Yeah.
I think lots of people who are maybe experiencing a dark period,
Yeah.
and they go to the doctors and they're prescribed antidepressants, which they may or may not take. But how can holistic therapy help you all round?
I would say you've got to work with it, you've got to work alongside a lot of the holistic treatments, holistic therapies, and more about working alongside whatever you need to do. And they can help you sort of with that transition, as you say, from being in a dark place to bring you up to an even keel, bring you into a better place. And unfortunately, we do dip quicker than we come up.
Yeah.
And people, I think, have to be aware of that. So it's about trusting the process of what medication you may be prescribed, if you prescribe them, or trust the process is in little steps, but the holistic side of things, whether it's yoga, whether it's a sound baths, whether it's a holistic treatment, they're all going to be complementary and they're going to help you make that shift much easier, much quicker, put you in a better place, because they do what they tend to do is shift that nervous system.
Yeah.
You may have heard there's a sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is when you're busy, you're active, you're doing, you're ready to jump up at any noise, phone goes, whatever. The parasympathetic nervous system is when you're in a calm state. And that's just the body. If the body's in a good place, the mind does automatically follow. So if your body's relaxed, if you're receiving a treatment, a massage, a Reiki, crystal therapy, whatever you're going for, or you're going in to do a yoga practice or an exercise practice or a sound bath, even if you're going for a walk, taking yourself out of a building, if you're in this building, take yourself out during a break, have a walk around the block. That's a meditative practice. That's going to shift your overwhelm, that busyness, that want to be doing, or that almost that fight and flight, if you like, mode, to that place of, right, okay, I feel okay now. I feel calm. I've taken my moment out. I've switched off from whatever I'm doing, and I've taken that time out. And that's all part of shifting that system so the body is calm and relaxed, the mind is calm and relaxed. So it's going to complement anything you're doing. And then quite often what people find, if they stay with it, is quite often they can reduce medications.
Yeah.
Even come off medications, if you need to stay on them. And it's one of those things, isn't it, with the mindfulness side of things. If we don't want to take medication and we suddenly are told, right, we're going to take this, that's quite daunting for some people, isn't it? So that's that overwhelm coming in as well. And you've got to, I think the biggest thing is trust in the process, but trust that actually this stuff can help.
Yeah.
It can make a huge difference. Whatever it is you choose to try out, do give it a little bit of time. Do trust in the process and trust in yourself that you actually this is my way of committing some self-care, some self-love to help me on this journey of feeling better, whether it be physically or mentally, emotionally, whatever way that might be.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah. That resonates for me because I think I've been through a similar journey and really looked to holistic ways. I didn't end up taking the medication, but looking for other ways to kind of try and feel better. And I've tried everything really. Sound baths, yoga, reflexology, acupuncture, so many different things. And I think you're right, you've got to be quite committed to it. It's quite a slow process, really, but I think it really does, from my experience, it really does work. But it's small steps, isn't it?
It is. And there's a lot of techniques and things that you can do where you don't have to go to a class. You know, you can do, as I say, you can Google breath work, you can Google mindfulness techniques to distract the mind, to calm, to help with physical, emotional, all of these different things that affect us on a daily basis. And at the end of the day, we're all human. You know, we all have, if we all sat in a room, we probably could all speak about, if a subject came up, how something had affected us. We can quite often, many or if not all of us, can relate at some point in some way to the same event, experience that someone else has. We are human. You know, we are sort of open to feeling upset, sad, hurt, you know, for many different reasons. So these things can be there. Or if you go to a group, if you go to a class, it just takes it out of your hands, if you like. And you put in yourself in someone else's hands who knows what they're doing. You know, you've got, you know, whether it's a treatment, whether it's a class, whether it's something like a sound bath, whoever's facilitating holds that space for you just to release, relax, get yourself in that state of well-being, feeling good, feeling calm. And that's when the releases come, and that's when you feel better, you know. So yeah.
Because you've mentioned sound baths a few times. Like we love a sound bath.
Yeah, we do.
But it is a relatively new thing, and I think that some people might not know what it is or what the benefits are. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine, a friend and I went to a sound bath, and she was, because of what I do, she was like, can't you do this? And I'm saying, well, actually, it is on my list of things I want to do at some point. So she gave me the kick up the backside to do it, shall we say. And sound baths, it's just if you turn the radio on, if you turn your stereo on, you listen to with your earphones, you're listening to sounds, and they come in different varieties, whether it's just music or whether it's vocals, whether it's just a saxophone, just a couple of instruments. That's all sound. We can walk outside and we're bombarded with sounds, traffic, talking, voices, you know, the wind in the trees with the branches and rustling through the leaves and so on. So sound is all around us. It's always been there. And sound, music, sound, drums, bells, so on, have been used for thousands and thousands of years. So as much as sound baths is new, you know, sound itself and how it benefits the body and the mind have been just ongoing for thousands of years. It's not new in that respect. I have, when I do my sound baths, I have the crystal bowls, and I use Himalayan bowls. I use gongs, drums, and then other various instruments in with the session. The crystal bowls, well, all sound is all there around us, and every sound has a frequency, has a vibration. You know, if you shout, you know, sort of, if you said something, I'll speak it, you'll hear it, and it's that vibration of sound travels across the ether, if you like, and then resonates in our auditory system. So sound is just there constantly. So with the crystal bowls, they emit. We have points right through our body which resonate with sound. It's said. Okay, so I use 7 bowls. So we have chakras within our body, going into sort of lots of Eastern cultures. People have probably heard about chakras. So we have 100 and odd chakras throughout our body, but we have 7 main chakras. So each one of the bowls is said to resonate with each of those chakras. So we have a root chakra, which is right at the base of the spine. Then we have the next chakra is your sacral chakra. That's between your belly button and the base of your spine. Then between your belly button and your rib cage, you have your solar plexus chakra, heart chakra in the heart space, throat chakra, brow chakra or third eye, and then your crown chakra, which lies just above the crown. And each of these balls is said to resonate, and the chakras are said to vibrate at a certain frequency. Okay, so what this does is each ball, so I will always go back to the root chakra ball, which is the biggest ball, and that emits a sound. You can tap them, creates a tone, you can play them and make them what they call sing, which is then your, you know, which it goes, excuse my sound. But, yeah, so when this happens, it resonates, that vibration of sound travels, and it's said to resonate within those chakras, okay? And then that helps bring that chakra to the rate it should be spinning, if you like, the size it should be, because chakras, they can change and shift in size, okay? So if you are out of sorts and feeling insecure, life is going, things at home aren't good, things at work, places where you feel safe and secure seem to be out of sync, or you just feel out of sorts yourself, and you don't feel very grounded, if you like. It's about that chakra maybe not spinning as right, not spinning at the rate it should be, the vibration working at the size, and they can shift. So as in the sound balls will help bring that chakra to its speed, its vibration, which clears any blockages, if you like, which could be linked to negative emotions, all those things that sort of hamper us, which come along and knock us sideways, are curveballs, if you like. And that's how, as well, crystal therapy works as well. And then that is that just shifting, it's the shifting that nervous system into that place of calm, you know, into that place of relaxation, so you can relax and then you're not holding any tension. So you can hold that space. You might be struggling with something in the heart space, might be grief, it might be sort of a relationship, an argument, it could be something from years ago, you know, and that's there, but this is just going to help you. These things just help you relax to that point where you can release. But then you might just go and have a sound bath and feel the vibration of the gong or the balls, and just go into a deep state of relaxation where you feel you're almost just nodding off, and you're just in that such a calm, relaxed state.
I think that's how I've experienced. I mean, I didn't know about the chakras thing. I didn't know that was the purpose of it. Yeah. I think from my point of view, I've tried to meditate hundreds of times, can't do it, can't switch my mind off. I'm always thinking about 50 things going around my mind. Apart from a sound bath where I really just tune in to all of the different sounds, and there's enough going on for my brain to be stimulated by what's happening that I do just relax and switch off and think of nothing else, and then I come out of it feeling amazing. Yeah. And I think that's what I've always thought that it was. So it's just, I'm so pleased you're here.
Yeah. If you went to a concert, a gig, your focus would be on the singer, the bass player, the drum player. With a sound bath, there's no focus other than allowing yourself, giving yourself permission just to be swept away, bathed in sound, if you like, you know, where you're not having to focus on that. You know, even though it might be your favourite band, it's very much your focus is on lyrics, how the artists look, or whatever it is. With the sound bath, it's just tuning in and just allowing the sounds to carry you away. And a sound bath really is about telling a story. So for me personally, when I run my sound baths, I like to just gently build and just give people that time in that moment with whatever sound, whichever instrument I'm playing. And then just gently build it up to take you into that deeper state of relaxation, and then gently bring you back down as well. So it isn't just someone going and just playing the balls or banging a gong. There should be some sort of flow, and that resonates with our bodies as well, because that takes us gently into that state of relaxation.
It's nice to just give yourself permission, isn't it, to do that? Because how often in daily life would we, I mean, I imagined years and years ago when there wasn't anything else to do, say on an evening, you would just sit in the garden, maybe just listen to the birds, you know, just for an hour. But when do we actually just sit down and close our eyes and just listen? Well, we don't, do we? There's always something else that's a distraction that takes you off on another path.
I know.
We've done some lovely sound baths in nature as well, where they've been outside, and like when you mentioned about the floating sound baths, and we talked about the vibration coming through the water. Do you want to talk to us about your floating sound baths? Because we need to be on for this.
We do need to do this, definitely.
The floating sound bath, that's something I've been watching and seeing little bits, mainly in other countries, you know, where obviously they have the temperature and they are outside, which would be, you know, absolutely amazing. If we had the weather and the space to do that and the safe lake or somewhere to do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. The ones I'm doing at the moment are in a local swimming pool. I've been doing it, I think, for about 6 months now, and running them monthly, and people absolutely love them. You have the sounds which you would get obviously from the instruments, which you would get in a normal sound bath if you're in a room, in a hall, in a studio. But obviously in the pool, you're laid on a huge, I always use the double beds. So you're in a floating bed, and you just float along, or you're just bobbing along. So that's
bang
that
into
sense
each
of
other.
gravity. Well, you would, because if you're in a pool, the pool actually has a filtration system,
right, okay.
so that just naturally draws everyone to one corner. So when I run mine, I do have one of my friends she is in the pool. Well, I have 2 people in the pool actually.
Really?
Yeah, I have 2 friends in the pool, and they stop that happening. So they'll gently, and I mean very gently, they're not swishing you around really quickly, just very gently nudging your bed away, so you're not bumping into each other, that you're not bumping into the sides, so you don't get that.
That's lovely.
And it's that sense of weightlessness that you get, which you don't get with a run-of-the-mill, that sounds awful, but a studio floor-based sound bath, you know, that sense of weightlessness. You know, it does make a huge difference, because then you are just completely allowed to just drift away somewhere.
But it's quite hard driving home after that, because I think after a normal sound bath, you're a little bit sort of, you need time, don't you, to wake up.
Yeah.
And I think after you've been so probably deep on a floating one, I bet it's a bit of a wake-up call getting out the other side.
Well,
you need to do a plunge at the other side, don't you?
Well, actually, saying that, I do always give people time, even if it was a floor-based, you know, on the mats, time, and said, you know, you must just take this time now, just take a few minutes, however long it takes you as well. But with the floating sound baths, I always make sure there's about 20 minutes or so afterwards, so people do tend to just linger on the beds, but they also, I say to them, you also have the option, if you want to get in the water.
Right, okay.
Oh, right.
You know, so they get I actually run one yesterday, and one of the girls, it was great, because straight away, as soon as I said that, someone dived in the water.
That's quite a nice end.
Yeah.
And it is, I keep it in the area in the pool where you can stand. I have one of these things that run across the pool. But with anything, I think it's what people are quite fearful of that sometimes. What if I can't drive home? What if I feel really tired and I'm just dozing off, you know, whatever. But quite often, these practices, yoga practice, the sound bath, meditation practice, whatever you go and do, you come out of there. Quite often people describe it as feeling tired, and it isn't. It's just relaxed.
Yeah.
You're not tired.
We're not used to it, are we?
Your body is so relaxed, you know, and that's a good place for your body to be in, because, and quite often as well, it's a relaxed alertness. Okay, so it's to take that fear away, and that's a big thing, fear. I found that through lived experience with movement. And that does come into play with a lot of things. Fear of moving, fear of going for a walk sometimes even, fear of bending down, twisting, reaching, you know, fear of climbing onto a bed to go to a floating sound bath, you know. When we do ours, we have the bed is pushed right to the side and someone's there guiding you on. And it's sometimes even fear of going for a treatment. You know, if you've had an injury, if you've got a health condition, or even if you've just not been before, what are they going to do? What are they going to say? You know, what are they going to think of my body? Even sometimes, you know. I've done treatments with a lady who had chemotherapy, and she'd really wanted a head massage, and it's about holding that space where they feel secure to go and do that. You know, she took her wig off and she came, and it was great. You know, and she felt great. And it's about taking that fear out. It's about trusting the process, trusting the person who's delivering the session or giving you the treatment, and trusting them that they know what they're doing to hold that space. You know, so take that fear out, take the fear out.
Because I always wonder, what if you fell off your little floating thing into the water? Which is a silly thought. But we all have these thoughts, don't we?
We do.
You know, I would definitely just say try stuff, because I've been having acupuncture and reflexology for about 2 years now, and it's just been the nicest thing that I do in my month, if I'm really honest.
Little treat, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love
How many
it.
needles did you have the other way?
I think I had on my face, and she put about 50 needles into my face.
Wow.
And I totally trust her, you know, but that's built, isn't it, over time?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the first time when I went for acupuncture, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be awful, needles. And it really isn't. But yeah, you've just got to try stuff sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, just give them a go. And there's especially sort of the yoga side of things, sound baths. There's sort of some people are like, oh, is it a bit woo woo? Is it a bit crazy? Am I getting into something I shouldn't be? And it isn't. I mean, any of the practices I do, the yoga, the sound baths, and so on, I don't sort of go down any what your religion is, whatever, you know, it's just purely around your well-being, purely around allowing you to switch off, allowing you to feel calm, relaxed, benefiting movement, benefiting the muscles, the strength, you know, the flexibility movement, whatever form that is. And it is just trusting, giving it a go, giving it a try. And not everything is for everyone, you know. We don't all like the same things. We don't all switch off to the same things. And going back to you, it's about finding that little thing that does help you switch off. What is your happy place? You know, what do you... And I'll quite often say to people, stop and just say to yourself, what do I need right now? What is it I need right now? Do I need a cup of tea? Do I need to go and pick the phone up and speak to someone? Do I need to get myself out of this room I'm in? You know, do I need to put my favourite music on and jump about crazy in the front room? What do I need right now? And you can do that at any point, at any time during the day or the evening, and just really focus in and sit with it. You know, don't just think, right, I know I need to do that, but what do I need? I'll do it after this. No, do it now. If you've got the moment, do it now. You know, if you've, whatever it is.
Being more self-aware, I guess, isn't it? And checking in with yourself and thinking, well, I know I feel off kilter, but what am I gonna do to change that?
I think a lot of people that have tried yoga before, I know I love yoga, and sometimes I speak to someone like, I've tried it and I didn't like it. I think a lot of it is finding the person for you, isn't it? Because I think, like you've mentioned, people do it so differently, and some people are really woo-woo, some people are really treated as an exercise, and it's finding your balance of what you want and finding the right person for you, isn't it? So, because I think men would especially benefit from, you know, when you speak to so many guys with backaches and that kind of thing, like yoga's perfect for that, isn't it?
Yeah. And if you look now as well, there's so many celebrities, sports women, but sportsmen doing yoga, you know, because it is that stretch. And I've had, I don't have men all the time in my classes. They're always welcome. They're quite often, which very sadly, I had one guy who used to continuously come along every session until he went and worked away. Others come in and out.
Yeah.
And quite often men will go, wow, I don't know, I can do that. But their bodies work in a similar way.
Yeah.
They need to stretch, and it isn't, it's not instantaneous, that flexibility or that balance. It is something that you work on. If your muscles have only been going, sound effects again, and you have to go to a bit of a move that makes them have to go like that, you're going to feel it. In my classes, I have people of all different abilities, and as you say, it's the teacher, it's getting into a space where you feel comfortable. And I always say to my to my participants who come to the classes, I'm here delivering, but this is your practice. If your arm only goes to here and mine's going up straight up, pointing to the ceiling, that's fine. That is your perfect for you. And that's where you're going to make the changes. That's where you're going to see the progression. Working at that point, which feels okay. That's where you need to be, and just work with that. And then it's allowing those muscles to be able to eventually start to stretch, expand, contract to their full efficiency and their ability. But it is just a gradual process. Like when I went in to do the yoga, the guy said to me, stick at it for 3 months. But that's not just yoga, that's whatever you choose to go into. Give it time. Give yourself that change time, that transitional time, because we do need to embed things like well-being and self-care. So if we just do it, I'll go and do it that, and then don't do anything for like 6 months, we're not benefiting for that. If you think about your car, every year you have to put your car in for an MOT. Think about your body and your mind as needing an MOT. You need a top up. Where are you going to get that top up from? What top up can you find, whether it's yoga, walking, running, listening to music, going to a sound bath, going for a treatment? What is going to give you that time to just give yourself, right, this is my top up, this is what I need, this is the MOT for me, this is my MOT. And then those things like yoga, things like any movement classes are going to build that awareness. Mindfulness practice builds that awareness. Meditation builds that awareness. And building that awareness is, how does my body feel? How does my body feel in this position? Well, if it doesn't feel right, I need to change my position. I do a lot of chair classes where people have health conditions, they're aged, don't like the O word. You know what I mean by that, don't you? We're maturing as we mature.
Seniors.
I don't even like that one. We mature now as we go on with our years. So we do get different health conditions coming in. And a lot of that, again, goes back to the fear when we have these health conditions coming in, fear of movement. Me, for example, with my back, if I move like that, I might injure myself again.
Well, not surprised how you did it. You must have fear all the time about, with it being such an innocent way that you injured your back, that must just really play on your mind when you do little things.
I trust in how I feel, I think now. And it's that awareness. This feels uncomfortable. I need to move. And, that awareness also brings confidence, I feel. It brings, when you get a greater awareness of the positioning of your body or what you need right now, as I've said earlier, that brings confidence. That brings that self-trust. And that's part, as well as trusting wherever you're going and that practitioner who is delivering or giving you the treatment. It's also you need that self-trust. Actually, I'm doing this for me. I know it's going to put me in a better place. I know it's going to stop that overwhelm of the mind. It's going to relax the body. And I'm going to feel okay to carry on. and get through this or carry on or go back to whatever I'm doing.
And you're kind of taking control sometimes of the situation, aren't you? I think if you've been through something, or whether that's physical or mental, and you've gone through the doctor's process and, you know, as far as you can go, and you sort of think, well, still don't feel like I'm getting any answers. I just think looking at something more holistic, or multiple things holistically, you're sort of taking ownership of it a bit, aren't you? Thinking, right, what can I do to go out there and seek something that's going to help me get better slowly, even if it is slower, you know, but you're taking control a bit.
Yeah, that's really as well why sort of my business name, Holistic Links, and I'm not plugging that just to sort of bring that in. It's looking at yourself as a whole. It's not just the movement. It's not just the breath work. It's not just the mindfulness. It's not just going for a treatment or going and getting your nails done or whatever it is. It's everything combined for me. Personally, that's my view on it. It's everything. A little bit of everything is going to keep everything, mind, body, you know, how you feel about the world, how you feel about yourself. It's going to bring everything together.
Yeah.
So it's not just, I just don't think it's, and that's why I think I tend to do treatments, sound baths, yoga, chair yoga, because I'm quite passionate about everything and I know everything. I know from my lived experience, it wasn't just one thing that made the difference. It was a lot of different things, you know. So I think that's really important as well, to look at all aspects, not just whatever's going on with the body physically. It's everything comes into play, emotionally, mentally. It's all getting that balance for every single aspect that comes in. Yeah.
I think the chair yoga is fascinating as well, because I think as you do get your word, there's the risk of falling, isn't there? And there's the risk of being, you know, you need to be able to get yourself back up again and all that. So how does the chair yoga work?
Well, I'm not sure how other people deliver it. I do movement with the chair. If people are able, we use the chair as a prop, so we'll come off the chair and do exercises. It's not just all stretching and moving. I do bring a fun element into it. We have scarves that we do a bit of. We bring the tempo up. We have maracas and we have legs going out and arms shaking, handshaking maracas. But then I bring a lot in, again, through my lived experience, about posture, about movement. So when people, majority of the class are able to come up off the chair, so we'll walk and we'll walk around the room and talk about how we walk through the foot, how we put pressure. I had them doing something the other day where I was just getting them to walk and think about the big toe, and every step they took they were saying toe, 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 and it just shifts the way you walk. So that's going to help with posture, going to help with balance. It's about, I'm constantly, the people who attend my sessions, they'll say, if you ask them what does she say all the time, it was belly button to your spine. And constant, get your belly button in, pull your belly button in. And that's all about, as soon as you draw that tummy button into it, or navel, as someone corrected me one session, it's a navel, draw that in, that shifts your whole posture. So you stand taller, it shifts, and the principles of yoga is stacking, head over shoulders, over hips, over knees, over ankles. So everything is supported, if you like. So when it comes to the chair yoga, I'll also bring in not just the movement, but I'll talk about if you're reaching for something from the top shelf, and we'll quite often go on one foot and reach up with one hand and be doing a balancing act. Well, actually, we're putting pressure on all of these different joints along the side of the body, the hip, the knee, the ankle, and so on. I'll talk about sort of walking with your posture, about your eye gaze, instead of eye gaze being down, eye gaze being ahead. So you're aware if there's a curb that's up, you know, in a pavement. So I bring lots of different things in like that as well. So it's not just purely exercise, it's about how to pick up things, how to stand, how to reach, how to bend, how to lift from, you know, even just something as simple as, instead of standing on one foot, I do my actions, standing on one foot and reaching up to the cupboard, why not just take a step so you're there and you bring it up? Your body's in equal proportions there, your body's balanced.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not just a movement class. So it brings in a lot of different aspects with that, and I know that people who are attending get a lot of benefit, but then also have a lot of fun because I do miraculous. I do also ask them if you have any favourite songs. I'll put them on the playlist. So we try to do a little routine with that. But so that it's not just in the chair stretching, moving. We do bring lots of different things in.
And that's really great, isn't it? If you're a bit nervous about, if you're thinking, oh, yoga, how will I get on the floor or whatever, and that's your barrier, then it's you can still do it.
Yeah, you can still do it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I have had some people transition from the chair and actually go down to the mat as well, which is great. Yeah. And again, it's that building confidence. It's trusting your body, because we are fearful if something's going on with us. We feel fearful of movement, we're fearful of twisting, of reaching. So it's taking that out. As long as your body, because there is a difference between pain and it just being a stretch. And you do know that, but it's taking the fear out, just easing it in, so it's just building that confidence up to know that actually you can still move, you can still do things. So, yeah, and I am constantly, I feel as a practitioner of all of these different things I do, it's really important for me to keep bringing something new, enhancing. So I'm constantly trying to bring something in that is going to make a difference, going to enhance what I already do. And I'm just presently doing a course called Seasonal Yoga, although I'm qualified yoga, and this is bringing in, again, a holistic look at health, at yoga, at well-being. So it brings in about seasonal yoga. There's certain brings in meridian lines. It brings in different organs, which are benefit, so it brings in diet. All of these things can be brought into the session and just say, right, well, the movements, the asanas, the poses, if you like, that we're doing today are going to benefit, say, the liver and the gallbladder. So you'd work on twists, rotations. But it gives people that deeper awareness, that deeper understanding. It's not just a session. It's actually, this is how it's helping me. And I think that is also so important to understand the why you're doing it. You're not just going to a class. You're not just going to a sound bath. You're not just going, I'm just popping for a massage, whatever it might be you're doing. It's understanding, actually, this is benefiting me. And why, how, why, what part of me am I getting the benefits from? And that's just bringing everything into a whole, because we're made off of so many different facets, different experiences, different things go on with us. So it's really important that we do look at things as a whole. We are human beings. We're made up of many things. So
whereabouts do you do all of your classes then?
I'm mostly based in Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
However, I do go out and run sessions with different organisations. So I run chair sessions up in Stockton. I go and work with Parkinson's groups up in Great Ayton. I dot around all over, doing different things. It's nice to work with organisations because then the audience, such as like the Parkinson's group called Tulips up at Great Ayton, because the audience is there so you can deliver and you know what their needs are and specifically target what their needs are, and so it's dotted about all over. Then I've done different events for different organisations. I did an event near the new train station. I can't think what it's called. Hopetown. For a big national women's group. I did a big sound bath there.
Oh, yeah, I think we were there as well.
Right, yeah. So I'm dotting about, and then I also do events. So I've also started doing hen party yoga and dance.
We'll have to chat to you more.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's all just, it's bringing it in. And I think that's come from, I think people are becoming now so aware of the importance of well-being practices, and that comes from people benefiting and people seeing others benefit and thrive and bloom, if you like, from from these different
That's
practices.
quite a nice little tie-in with
It is a
our.
good-
These are called Bloom in Life. These sessions. So
There
yeah.
you are. And it is about that. And it's also for me as well, I think, knowing that, from my personal experience, knowing that you're not stuck, whatever life throws at you, whether it be a relationship, whether it be career, whether it be health, you're not stuck there. You're not stuck there. You can change, you can make those changes. I went from being a primary school teacher, where I've been in education all my life, trained in education, and I love working with children and I love my job. And I do go and do yoga sessions for children as well, and changed everything to taking a step. And it is about taking that step and trusting in yourself, knowing, right, I know I need something. I know I need to make a change. And what might make me feel good? What could I have a go at? Taking the fear of trying something new, you know, and giving yourself that time with it. Time to understand, give you time benefiting. Am I feeling the benefit here? You know, and trusting the process, trusting the facilitator, whoever they are, whatever the practice is, giving yourself that time with it.
It's been, I feel very inspired.
I do.
I think just as a final question, it's been burning in my mind. What do you do to relax? What do you do to fill your cup?
Well, for me, I do go and have therapies. I go and have treatments. I have a collie. So walking with my dog, which is a daily practice, but I do take time out in nature. When I do my practice, I get a lot from that anyway. You know, I get a lot. And if you think about going back to the sound baths, if I'm doing a sound bath, I'm receiving all of that as well.
I was thinking that.
Playing the gong.
Double whammy.
I'm receiving all of those vibrations as well. So that is a good feeling. But I do daily use breathwork techniques, mindfulness techniques. I'm not superhuman by any means. And I do still have things that affect me, things that trigger me, things where I feel from years ago, from daily things. I have stresses and worries of daily life, stresses and worries about my child, you know, and my parents and so on. So it's about when that awareness again, these practices, these treatments, it's about building your awareness of how you feel, how your body feels, how the mind feels, where your mind is, and thinking, right, what's going to make me feel better? What can I do? But being more aware. And when you do a lot of these practices, you do get a greater awareness. So if I do find something triggers me, if you want of a better phrase, it's like I do now. I know I need to do something. I know I need to move. If I don't move, if I don't stretch, my pain levels will go up. So I know every time I go and do a class, I'm actually benefiting from that. I'm getting from that, and that's, I think, what makes me even more passionate, because I know this stuff really, really does work. Mindfulness, meditation, stretching, yoga, movement, walking, all of these things really do work, and they do help, but you have to trust the process. You have to trust in yourself and give yourself that time. So don't be fearful.
And we will get hooked on to a floating sound bath.
I'd love
definitely
to have you along.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been so interesting. And again, I think we could talk about this forever, because there's just so much to learn. But thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure.